I am going to borrow a technique from Daryl. If you happen to have an injector, feel free to use this. I mean, it is a nice technique. If you don't have an injector, another thing you could try is to brine your ribs. And I would use just salt and water and sugar. And I'm taking the needle and just going between the bones. And Daryl used a combination of a pork injector blend, a commercial blend, and apple juice. If I were making it, and I'm using this because I can't waste anything, I don't want to make up a second batch, but if I were doing it at home, I would use apple juice, and I would use salt and pepper, garlic, onion powder, and paprika. That's what I would use in mine. That will mimic the flavors. You could also, you know what would be good? You could stir a tablespoon or two of honey in that. Now, you've got to be careful if you use honey early in the cooking process. It can burn, but I think if you're injecting it, it'd be really, really nice. Don't use too much, though. Okay, so to make it up at home, like I said, simple spices you keep in your cupboard. Because I know for me, a lot of the flavor from my ribs, of course I want the meat to taste good. That's, you know, half the point. But a lot of the flavor that I'm going to have in mine is going to be from the homemade barbecue sauce that I'm going to make here in a minute. Because at my house, I really don't use commercial rubs or seasonings. I don't use commercial sauces most of the time. I do them myself.
Man, them ribs look really good, Jan.
Thank you. Not competition style, but I wouldn't say no to these. Of course, I'm not presenting them to anybody that's going to hand me a ribbon or a check for $4,000.
Right.
I might change my tune on some of that if I... People start writing me checks, I might say things a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
Makes a big difference when somebody starts handing you money.
Yeah.
Alright, I've about got this injected. There's a big fat load of cartilage right there, isn't there?
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, boy, it goes everywhere. We were talking earlier about Frenching, removing the meat between the bones. Mm-hmm. You talked about how that one competitor that removes just a little nub between each bone, it creates handles. I gotta say, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Okie dokie. So we've got this. Now, do you have a particular way you trim riblets?
Well, there's two schools of thoughts. One is cook it all in one piece,
Yep.
or chop it all up into little bitty pieces and then put it in a tin foil. But either way, that meat will cook faster than a rack of ribs will. Mm-hmm. You have to be very careful with it.
Well, it doesn't have the bone in it.
And there you go.
The bone acts as an insulator, and so it does have these nubs of cartilage which kind of act a little bit like a bone, but not to the same degree. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking mine, and I'm injecting it with the same stuff. I'm probably going to go ahead and get my ribs started, but I'm going to wait on this huge extra piece. Mm-hmm. We were going to get some lunch because we're cooking all this food and we don't have any lunch.
Yeah. We've been going at it now for about 5 hours.
Well, look, I finally did it.
Well,
But I want to show you the difference in what you would, did it again, what you do for a competition and what you're going to do at home.